Here's a recap of my major mods.
This is the show car. This is the car that I built, to get all the trophies, to win, compete, you name it. I put everything into this car. I've invested everything I have to this car. I purchased that MR2 and then just started fixing it up. But it took so long, like I said, 4 years to just put the major modifications on it because I wanted everything so custom that nobody had it. Very extreme, very extreme. A lot of money and time and energy building that car. For that car, obviously spending all these years keeping it in different shops because I wanted a custom work that nobody else has. And if you want really custom, then it takes time. There it is.
That's a crazy paint job. It's almost like glass.
With the body, I had to make sure that it was wider than the normal wide body kits they have, but it has to look like it's part of the car. I don't want it to look like a kit that's tacked on the car. I want it to look like it was made for the car. So that's why it took so long, and I had to take it out of 3 different shops because the first shop, didn't know what they were doing. They just put a regular kit. I said, it's not wide enough, but they couldn't do the kind of kit I wanted, so I took it out. Took it to another shop, and that other shop, they were able to make it wider, but they didn't have the resources to finish it up and because there's a lot of prepping involved to clean up the body and make sure that it's straight for the paint job and everything. So I had to take it to another shop after that to clean it all up. If you look at the lines, you'll see how clean it looks. You look at even as the fenders go towards the doors, it looks like it's just part of the car. It doesn't look like it's an added modification. It looks like it's actually made like it's factory made. So that's what I like about the body kit. As you can tell, the car doesn't even look like an MR2 anymore. Interior had to be just as innovative and original as the exterior. So that's why I had the whole dashboard taken out and custom made to fit the special pods I have, the turbo gauges and so on that you see on the right hand side. You see some people doing that now too on their cars. But for me, it wasn't a separate piece. The whole dashboard was taken out so that you could fit those gauges and put a 10-inch monitor in the front as well as a heads-up display. So it all complements everything. It's all original. You won't see a dashboard like that on a regular MR2. It's just so custom. Then, of course, I had to get the multimedia system, which you really don't see that. I got like 6 cameras. It's like a surveillance system all around the car, which is really functional because when you're driving, you get to see behind you. You get to see on the right, left side, your blind spots. When you turn on your turn signals, the turn signal cameras has priority, so you get to see where you're going. Your car can see for you, because it has those front cameras. You can peek through and you can look through your camera. You can see what's out there on both sides. Then let's not forget the night vision camera in the front. That's why the car actually has the nickname Night Rider, because you can actually drive without your lights on. Of course, I've never done that, but I'm just saying it has a night camera in the front, and you can see through your 10-inch monitor or your heads-up display. built. And I'm not even talking about the mods that I've done with my motor and my turbo. Obviously, I had to take the motor out and rebuild everything inside and put forged internals to allow my car to take more boost. You know, I mean, when you think about investment, I had to get a new turbo, an upgraded turbo, as well as a new aftermarket computer, FCON, and so on, to power to control the new turbo system and the fuel system, putting a newly built motor and a new fuel management system and all that adds up. Most people would probably just add those modifications and call it a day.
I had this notion from the beginning about having a trunk mount intercooler, and I didn't want to have it how a lot of other MR2s had it, where it was just kind of sitting on the bottom of the trunk. I actually wanted to be high up, where first of all, you know, because of the aerodynamics, it would flow better, that it would hit the trunk while you're driving, the trunk mount intercooler while you're driving. And it would also be more of a showcase piece as well when you go to shows. So I had this notion in my head on how to make that happen. Initially, while I was getting the body work done, when I took it to the second shop, I've already told them that I wanted to cut the trunk out in the back to create this space where I'm going to actually have the intercooler installed. And I already had the intercooler with me. Okay, I already had a friend get me the oversized intercooler that I was going to use for the back, and so I used that to measure how big the hole is going to be on the trunk, if you will, where they're going to cut the hole. So it's not just like cutting a hole and you just see the sheet metal. No, it's cutting a hole, and then the metal there'll be metal that'll be welded around, like a frame around the intercooler hole, to make it look cleaner. With that, create a custom aluminum funnel underneath and a hole that went straight down. This is an open hole in the back, right, for the intercooler. And if it rained, where would the water go, right? So the whole idea was, when it rained, water will go through the intercooler and go straight down where there is a funnel, and there's a hole underneath the bottom of the car, and that's where the water would go. So this was all conceived, and this all took time, if you will. This is all custom work. It was an eye-catching design. A lot of people actually enjoyed it. If you look at the back, it really complemented everything. You know, with the custom back, with the custom tail that was all part of the body, the wide body, the back, and then all of a sudden you'll see a glimpse of the intercooler hole, and then it would kind of intrigue you. You know, from far away, it would kind of intrigue you, so you want to get a closer look. You get closer, and then you'd actually see, wow, that's actually where the intercooler is located. So it's a great masterpiece. It was a great modification that really got a whole lot of attention.
Another great feature that really cost me money was that remote aluminum fuel door that I added. No one really has that. And the beauty of that is that I could just use my remote to open the fuel door.
If you look at the TRD wide body, you could tell that from the side they had this sort of a fuel door that just kind of open closes, and it's easy to just kind of tell that it's just sort of an add-on. It doesn't really look clean in my eyes, so what I wanted to do was to actually put a big aluminum fuel door, not just a tiny one that a lot of people put, but something really huge. And the one that I put was actually a remote control fuel door. It was just part of my my alarm remote. For me to open it, I had to just press the button, and then it would just open the fuel door, and then you just turn the knob out. That was really a challenge to install, and I remember that little piece as well. It cost me $1,000 just to have that custom work done, for them to cut that hole and install the fuel door. And that doesn't even include the fuel door itself, which cost a couple $100. So all in all, maybe it costs around $1,500. I don't know, but just to give you an idea of the add-ons and the modifications that I put into this car, and this was just a fuel door.
Wheels, it wasn't really meant so much for stance or flush or whatever kind of style that they have now as far as going crazy slammed with the negative camber. The thing is, you can kind of get away with those negative cambers and having it so damn low if you have airbags, or if you don't really care as much about your undercarriage or the fenders, because it rubs like crazy. But for a show car, I didn't really want to do that. I didn't want to have to worry about scratching my fenders or scratching my wheel wells or my spoiler, because it's a show car, so everything has to look clean even underneath. If you look underneath, it looks just as clean as the bodywork. Ordered, you know, a specific set of wheels that's deep enough for, you know, deep dish wheels, obviously, but deep enough for my wide body. But I just didn't want it to have a crazy camber, to have it so super low that you can't even drive it, or I have to worry about scratches, you know. And I didn't really want to put airbags on it anyway, so I still wanted to have sort of that performance feel to it. So that's why I put coilovers and stuff like that. It's got big brakes and so on. So all these features I have, like even for the external, it's like, you don't even see that nowadays. I mean, even back then you don't really see it, but now you just won't see it because it takes time, it takes money, and it takes, well, creativity, but everybody can be creative, right? It's just being patient as well to do all these sporadic modifications along the way. So it takes time to build a truly custom car. Of course, could I have done it sooner? Probably, but the thing is, if you're not priority, or if you know, if they're not building it for themselves, they're building it for you. So a lot of these shops, they take their time. They take forever they just take a long time to finish a car. Yeah, so I'm here to check all my carbon fiber stuff and see what's going on. It was a massive undertaking. So I said to myself, I'm never going to do that again. I said, I'm not even going to be part of the shows anymore. But here I am, building, or thinking, contemplating on building another, you know, extreme car. You know, yeah, it's going to be a show car, but I still want to keep going to the tracks too.